Hello, beautiful people. My name is Nanaya. Welcome once again to my podcast and to conversations that matter for self development and self leadership. One may ask, why am I so keen and interested in self leadership? At a certain point in my life, I realized that a lot of our conversations was looking at other people who were in leadership position to make that decision for us to follow. But as years go by, I realize that people may be in leadership positions does not mean that they are leaders. Leadership begins with oneself. But then what makes a great leader? And this is something that I've been digging through myself, developing myself and whatnot, being able to bring the best out of me and live my life to the fullest and authenticity. So in this conversation, I'm going to go through 3 core values that help guide myself and my outlook in life. And I did not stumble upon it. It came as a result of being distressed internally about what was going on outside of myself and how to, navigate that aspect of life. Years ago, I used to work in a big institution, hospital in Toronto. Those that I had worked with know me. At that point in time, I was trying to figure out why is it that I got upset when things were not going right, when people were making decisions, because at a certain point, there was management that was highly toxic, lacked empathy, respect, and was not accountable to themselves, but they looked for accountability from us as, staff. So I needed to figure out why I was acting and reacting the way I was, why I was so unhappy in that place. It was during those times that I really began digging deep into myself in a sense of self-reflection. And the reason why even I became aware of empathy, accountability, and respect was because when I began digging in and unearthing the subconscious, values that were guiding my moral principles, then I could put a name to it and a frame to it, and then how I wanted to be addressed and also the path I wanted to walk. So all these are part of what guided the decisions I made to get out of that work environment. Decision making, based on this inner compass that I unearthed. Let's start with accountability. To be accountable is to acknowledge that when you make a mistake, irrespective of what is going on around, you take ownership for it. Taking ownership for that error means that you are able to step back, see where you could have done better, and if you did not do better, make amends to do better. How you responded to an issue or a problem, how you could have responded to it in a different way. Taking accountability for yourself is to help you grow into a much better version of who you are, not for the other person. So sometimes when we take accountability for something, it's like, oh, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't me. Step back. What could I have said better? How could I have done this better? And what are some of the things I'm learning from it? Those should be the guiding questions to accountability. When you are able to establish your part in the issue, then you can address the next person. But you cannot point fingers if you've not addressed your part. And if you are addressing that part, understand that you addressed it also with respect. When it comes to respect, I will give you an example. When I used to work in Toronto, and I have, say, because you're in the healthcare industry, housekeeping. Now, I love my housekeepers, and any of them watching this video, and I've worked with you over the years, I like to say thank you so much, because your work, doing your job correctly, helped me in being able to provide a safe and clean environment for the clients I took care of. That means I don't have to do the cleaning. That means you did your cleaning, and so help me take care of somebody and not take that time away from that person. So thank you. What I did find is that because a person is a cleaner and is cleaning the work environment, sometimes we look at it as a power play, that because I am the RN, I'm here, and the cleaner or housekeeper is here. No, we work together as part of the team of healthcare professionals or within a healthcare environment to make systems work. Everybody plays their role, and in playing their role perfectly with dignity and respect, everything goes on good. So once again, thank you to all you that I have worked with in the past, from those that are huggers that give me the hugs, and those that say, Bernadette, you're tired, you should be a counselor. You know who you are. Thank you for being there, for working with me and giving me that respect, according me that dignity, and making it a beautiful work environment. My next conversation is about empathy. Sometimes as human beings, for instance, a colleague comes in, you look at the colleague is not feeling too good or not doing too well. What are some of the conversations have we had, and how have we supported them? Have we given them an empathetic listening ear, or have we been judgmental? As human beings, I tend to find that we tend to be judgmental very, very quickly. And we don't have time for each other, but we want somebody else to have time for us. And being said, empathy is huge. If you are in healthcare, you do nursing. That is one of the things you taught, hands down, in nursing, empathy. But how many of us consciously practice that as part of our inner compass, not as a job, but our guiding principles in life? It is very important. Empathy can be practiced not only in the healthcare environment. When you're going out, you see somebody who needs a little bit of help. It goes with kindness. Have empathy for people. And it takes us a long way in life. There are periods of times that we are all not the perfect aspect of ourselves, but when we give kindness to each other, we're empathetic towards each other, we respect each other, I do believe we will go a long way. So these are the 3 core values that help me navigate, have become part of my inner compass. And they've become part of my inner compass because I had to unearth them to know that they are the guiding principles and frame my life consciously around it. So when I'm doing nursing preceptorship or talking to people, and they, for instance, say, oh, the leaders should do this, the leaders are not doing this. The question I ask them is, you are looking at the other person as the leader to do X, Y, and Z. Does that person even know who they are as human beings? Do they know their principles, their core values? If they don't know, how are they going to teach you? How are they going to share with you? How are they going to guide you? So that expectation of a leader to do that, take that away and do your self-leadership. How are you guiding yourself? Learn for yourself. Build yourself from the ground up. Frame yourself and guide yourself. That self-leadership is very important. Once I was talking to somebody in Ghana, and they were talking about, not knowing X, Y, and Z, and the leaders are not doing this and that and that. It's understandable. They do not know. So which means is that instead of putting the blame of accountability on them, be accountable to yourself. Research what you need to do and let that guide you. And when you learn that this is where you are and this is where you want to go, you can most definitely help the next person who also wants to go on that journey, which is very, very important. Respect. You know the word, the song, respect is reciprocal. Respect starts with the self. You cannot respect another person and be disrespected. You cannot disrespect yourself or the other person and expect that person to respect you. So those in power, authority, on leadership positions, the conversation is about self-respect. And you respecting yourself and having that self-dignity. That means when you come out to speak, the next person does accord that. But sometimes in our African mentality and in certain areas around the world, I shouldn't say Africa, but since most of my audience is in Africa and the diaspora, if you are in a leadership position and you want people to respect you, start with respecting yourself first. Self-development, self-leadership development, self-respect, and being empathetic towards people. That is key to be able to have the people who you are, leading to listen and be able to guide them. These conversations we hardly have because our culture, the value system is often based on pointing fingers and blame, which I don't blame them. But in us reflecting and getting to know that these are some of the guiding principles that can help us, enhance us, and lead us towards certain directions in our lives, most especially if we want to grow and become aware and that we need to change our mindset. This is what we need to do. It's not an overnight job. It is a learning journey. It is a process, and it demands continuous, review of who we are, being introspective, being critical, and critiquing ourselves. I did not get up to be here. I had to go through my life challenges and journey and deciding that I want to be somewhere. I want to be a certain kind of individual. And this is my outlook in life, whether leadership, whether management, whether client care, bedside care, teaching. This is what I want to do. This is who I am, and I need to become a better version of myself. That's all. Thank you so much for listening. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe to the Nana Yeboah podcast. There's a lot of learning to be done and a lot of unlearning to be done. And I'm in the process of unlearning all the bad habits and relearning the good habits for a transformational me.